closer than ever before. Quickly, into the vortex.
Dr. Cortex, the vortex is not ready. We have no idea what it could do.
Failure again. Capture him!
Uh-oh.
Crash Bandicoot, the ever-infamous marsupial who proved that franchise resurrections are in fact possible. Crash Bandicoot is the goofy, lovable platform mascot who loves to spin, jump, slide, and spin some more. He was mutated into his current state by his arch-enemy, Dr. Neo Cortex, who planned to brainwash him into being his general of evil mutant animals. Luckily, Cortex's plan didn't turn out too well, as he ended up creating his worst enemy instead. Don't you love it when that happens? Despite not really being all there, Crash is very capable of getting the job done, and he'd have a lot to bring to the Smash table. In Smash, he'd be an average weight fighter with a lot of wacky and unorthodox movement and attacks. He'd have 2 jumps and would be able to crawl. Crash would have a 3-hit jab, with the first 2 hits being a punch from each hand, one after the other, and then end it with his Norris roundhouse kick. This is an attack that he does in the game Crash of the Titans. Despite this game being widely disliked, there'll actually be a lot of moves from that game, since there was a beat-em-up game with a wide variety of moves that Crash learns to use. Crash's dash attack would be his signature slide attack, which would have him slide forwards close to the ground with his feet forward. This dash attack would be unique in that he would actually be able to cancel this attack at any point by jumping, effectively having him perform the slide jump. This would be Crash's fastest movement option when it comes to follow-up or just needing to get away. Crash's side tilt would be a quick horizontal spin kick attack. This is actually an attack that his sister Coco uses in the Crash game Wrath of Cortex. Crash's up tilt would be his chin tickler uppercut, another move from Crash of the Titans. His down tilt would be a low to the ground sweep kick, another attack that Coco uses in Wrath of Cortex. Crash's side smash would be a spin punch attack. It would have Crash do his cyclone spin as he charges the attack, then when the attack is released, he throws a strong horizontal punch. This attack can actually deal small damage to foes during the spinning as he charges, like for Corrin's side smash with their Yato blade. This move was never technically used in any of the Crash games, but it was planned to be an attack used in Crash Twinsanity before it ended up getting cut. For the first improvised attack with his up smash, it would be a short hop spin attack that would deal small flinching damage before launching the foe with the last hit. His down smash would have Crash spin while upside down with his legs diagonally upwards. This is an attack that references when Crash uses the spin attack while burrowed underground and spins with his legs out, but it also borrows reference from the gyro jackhammer attack that Crash uses in Crash of the Titans. His neutral air would be his double whammy attack from Crash of the Titans. It would have him do a forward flipping double punch, having his fists do a complete 360 circle with this attack, and ending with his fist positions diagonally in front of himself. Crash's forward air would be his block breaker attack from Crash of the Titans, which is a horizontal double kick forwards, similar to King K. Rool and Incineroar's forward airs. His back air would be another attack that was planned for Twinsanity, but was cut. It would be a somersault kick, which would have him do a quick sideways flip kick. His foot would go around his body in a 270-degree circle, with it ending with the foot right below himself. His up air would be his triple dragon attack from Crash of the Titans, which would have him do an extending headbutt straight upwards. And for his down air, it of course shouldn't be anything else but his signature belly flop attack, which would have him fly straight down, dealing big damage to anybody hit by his body. It would have a bit of start lag and a lot of end lag. Crash would grab foes with one arm. He would pummel with his foot by stepping on the foe's feet. Crash's forward, back, and up throws would all be forms of his twin throw from Crash Twinsanity, which is what Crash does to Cortex throughout the game. The forward throw and back throw would have Crash spin with the foe in hand, then toss them away in the appropriate direction, and his up throw would have him do a jumping overhead toss upwards at an angle. And for his down throw, it would have Crash jump above the foe and do a spinning drill attack into them. For Crash's neutral special attack, we cannot have a proper Crash Bandicoot moveset without his signature Cyclone Spin attack. I know, Now, people probably want to argue that his Cyclone Spin should be a part of his basic attacks, but this attack has so many unique properties in his games that it's only appropriate that it be a part of his special attacks. Simply tapping the special button would have Crash do a frame 1 quick spin attack that deals decent damage but has great launch power. Fitting, since this move sends Crash's enemies into the stratosphere. But despite it having great launch power, the distance it launches would be pretty fixed, as to not be too broken. But it would still be a pretty great get off me kind of move. That said, that's just if you tap the button. If you hold the button down, it would have Crash spin continuously, effectively performing the Death Tornado Spin from Crash 3. It would have him spin for much longer before automatically slowing down and stopping after 5 seconds, and if he uses it in the air, it will slow his descent, and it can move left and right as he floats down. It's better for mobility, but that strong launching blow is only at the very beginning of the attack. Foes hit by Crash while the button is held down will only get launched a short distance, and it wouldn't deal as much damage. Crash's side special should be his Fruit Bazooka, also from Crash 3. It would have Crash shoot up to 2 Wumpa Fruit forwards that would move at an average speed, about as fast as Wolf's Blaster to give a comparison, and you can angle this attack to have Crash shoot it into any direction. Alright, now for Crash's up special, and I can already hear a lot of you out there behind your computer screens. Crash's up special should be his jetpack from Crash 2. Duh! Well, sorry to burst your Wumpa Fruit, but just having him use a jetpack is such a boring idea. I mean, about as boring as the actual jetpack levels from Crash 2. Nah, I think Crash's up special should be something that he's a lot more well known for. Think about it. Aside from his spin attack, what else is Crash most known for? Something that he's done since the beginning. If you've guessed breaking grates, you'd be right. This just makes so much more sense. Crash is always bouncing off of crates, and he always gains extra height in his games when he does. So I think that it's only appropriate that crate bouncing should be his up special for Smash. Upon using the move, a random crate would appear below Crash's feet and he'd bounce off of it, gaining extra height. He'd be able to do this up to 3 times in the air before going into free fall. Also, Crash would be locked out of all of his basic attacks after crate jumping, being able to only use special attacks or air dodges until he lands or uses it the 3rd time. Now, to make things even more interesting, let's say there could be, I don't know, more than one type of crate that can randomly spawn under Crash as he uses the move. The most common type of crate would be, of course, your normal wooden crate, which would break immediately as soon as Crash jumps off of it, and it wouldn't deal any damage. The second type of crate that Crash could bounce off of would be the bounce crates. Just like in the Crash games, these crates don't immediately burst when Crash jumps off of them, but instead, they'll remain suspended in the spot where Crash spawned them, and can bounce off of them again up to 5 times before they finally break. And other players can also bounce off of them as well, just like for Pac-Man's trampoline up special. Unlike Pac-Man's though, bouncing off of it multiple times does not give Crash more height each time he bounces. It would send him the same height each time. The third type of crate that could spawn could be the TNT crates. In the original games, when Crash jumped off these dangerous crates, they'd begin a countdown starting at 3, then would explode upon reaching 0. These explosions would have semi-decent range and would be very deadly, being able to knock out anybody with a high enough damage percent that are too close to the explosion, including Crash himself. But it can still be bounced off of like the bounce crate right up until the explosion. Why you'd want to do that with only 3 seconds to get away, I don't know, but the option's there, I suppose. And the final crate to spawn for Crash's up special would be the Nitro crates. These would be the rarest crates, and Crash jumping off of them would cause them to explode immediately, just like in the original games. This explosion would hurt and deal damage to Crash, but would also send him a fixed distance straight upwards, even higher than jumping off the other crates. And don't worry, it can never KO Crash, even if it sends him too close to the blast zone, but it is still able to KO foes that are too close. Gotta love that charmy slapstick. With all of that said, I know I've been on the up special for a bit now, but I'm still not done. There's one more factor that I've included with the crates, and that would be another thing that they can do in the Crash games. Drop items. There can be a chance that the basic or bounce crates could drop one of 2 different items that would suspend in the air whenever the crate is broken. The first item would be Wumpa Fruit. Foes can pick these fruit up to heal a little bit of health, but if Crash picks them up, it would actually power up his Fruit Bazooka side special. Picking up 1 batch of fruit would allow him to shoot 6 Wumpa Fruit at a time instead of just 2, and they'd also be able to be fired a little bit more rapidly than normal, making them a lot more of a hassle to deal with. Crash can also stack how many times he can shoot the 6 shots if he continues to pick up Wumpa Fruit but doesn't use them. The other item that could appear from the crates could be Crash's protective but powerful foster father, the Mask of Aku Aku. Like the Wumpa Fruit, any player can pick up an Aku Aku mask, and if they do, they will have a very strong super armor for one attack dealt to them, completely nullifying any and all knockback for a single attack. They will still take damage, but that's it. Once they're hit by an attack, the Aku Aku mask will disappear, just like it does in the Crash games. Now, if you can somehow manage to get a second Aku Aku mask while you already have one, you'll actually turn invincible for 10 seconds, after which the mask will just disappear by itself. I can see races to try to get these masks to cause matches to become very chaotic, just like the setting of the Crash games themselves, so I think it's fitting enough. And that does it for Crash's Up Special. A lot to what I know, but I think it's very fitting to have the crate be such an integral part of Crash's moveset. Now, am I forgetting anything else before we move on? Oh, right! He has a down special I need to talk about. I think his down special should be Animal Charge. In the Crash games, on occasion, Crash would hijack this poor baby polar bear and charge on it through levels. For Smash, Crash would spawn the polar bear, whose name is Polar by the way, under himself, and would charge straight forwards, dealing a good amount of damage and knockback to foes hit by them. Crash can either brake to do a quick slowdown and get off, which in and of itself can deal good damage, or Crash can just jump off the bear, just like how Wario jumps off his bike for his side special, and Polar would just keep going until it either falls off a ledge or crashes into a wall. Poor Polar. Don't let Peter see this. So now, I don't think Crash really needs any special gimmick or anything like that, especially not after giving him such complicated special attacks, which can be argued are pretty gimmicky themselves. But I will be doing something much different for Crash today. And by different, I mean introducing a whole new segment. One that I've wanted to do for a while, but never really had a proper chance to do so with the previous characters that I've done up till now. Something that was introduced in Smash Ultimate, and one that I would love to utilize more if given the chance. To give a chance to other characters. I think you all might see where this is going. Crash's genius little sister, Coco Bandicoot. Thanks to the Insane Trilogy, we now see that Coco is very much capable of doing everything that Crash can do. So why shouldn't she be his Echo Fighter? In terms of their differences, there really wouldn't be too much outside of their aesthetics. Coco would be slightly faster than Crash, but her attacks wouldn't hit as hard as all. Her down air and down special would also look different, but would still function exactly the same. Instead of a body slam, she'd do a butt slam, and she wouldn't ride Polar, but instead her tiger friend, Purah. Now with Coco here, let's go over the final smashes and everything else for both Bandicoots. Crash's final smash would be similar to Samus's final smash. Aku Aku would appear before Crash and shoot a huge laser blast forwards that can be slightly angled. I know this might seem like a pretty lame smash, but that wouldn't be all. After Crash uses this final smash, Aku wouldn't leave. He'd stay with Crash and give him an automatic Aku Aku mask. Coco's final smash would be a bit more interesting, however. Aku would appear and emit a big flash of light that could pull foes into a cinematic final smash. Aku Aku would then teleport the foes into space, where Coco and Pearl would ride in on their spacecraft that they used to fight Engine in Crash 3 and blast the foes, dealing big damage to them. This smash would also end with Coco getting an automatic Aku Aku mask. Crash's first alternate colors would give him yellow fur and black shorts, the colors of his arch-enemy, Neo Cortex. His second would give him light orange fur and pink shorts, the colors of his ex-girlfriend, Tawna. Here's him with darker orange fur and green shorts, the colors of the swole villain Tiny the Tiger. Blue fur and white shorts, the color of the insane villain with a PhD, Ripperoo. Brown fur and orange shorts, the colors of Pinstripe Potoroo, the guy Tawna dumped Crash for. Awkward. Gray fur and yellow shorts, the color of the guy that's even more swole than Tiny, Koala King, and then a hilarious alternate costume in the form of fake Crash. For Coco's first ult, she'd have white fur and gray hair and overalls, the colors of Polar, yellow fur with brown overalls, the colors of Purah, brown fur with green overalls, the color of the twitchy former assistant to Dr. Cortex, Dr. M. Rio, orange hair and white overalls, the color of the crazy current assistant to Cortex, Dr. N. Jin, blue fur and navy blue hair with off-brown overalls, the color of the time-traveling Dr. N. Tropy, light blue fur, dull black hair, and purple overalls, the colors of Nina Cortex, Dr. Cortex's daughter. Or niece, he's not actually sure which. And finally, an alternate outfit where Coco dons her pilot outfit. For stage intros, Crash would appear from a warp portal from Crash 2, and Coco would appear from a time portal from Crash 3. Starting with Crash's taunts, his first would have him spin in place, then pose the two peace signs, his victory animation from when he beats bosses in Crash 2. The spinning can actually hurt foes. His second taunt would have him throw a lump of fruit into the air, tries to catch it, but misses and it splats on his face, an idle animation from the Crash games. This taunt would actually change if Crash has an Aku Aku mask, having him play volleyball with Aku with the lump of fruit until it splats into Crash's face. And his last taunt would have Crash look at the screen and bob his eyebrows up and down, something we see him do on occasion before he hijacks an animal. For Coco's taunts, her first would have her quickly sit down and type something onto her laptop. Her second would have her take goofy selfies on her cell phone, and her last taunt would have her look at the screen and wink, her counterpart to Crash's eyebrow bobbing whenever she hijacks an animal. And finally, for victory animations. Crash's first would have him lying flat on the ground sleeping. His second would be his victory animation from Crash 1, where he spins, then poses with his arms in the air. And his final animation should, of course, be the Crash dance. And ending things off with Coco, her first victory animation would have her working on her laptop with her back towards the screen, then turn around as the camera gets close. Her second would have her spin, then pose with her arms to the side, her Crash 1 victory animation from Insane Trilogy. And of course, her final victory animation should be the Coco dance. And that does it for Crash Bandicoot as a Smash Fighter and Coco as his Echo Fighter. Definitely a character that would add quite a bit of goofy charm to the Smash roster. I do very much hope to do more characters that can have Echo Fighters in the future, or maybe even Echo Fighters for characters that already exist in Smash. We'll see. If you'd like to see your favorite character be given a possible Smash moveset, leave a comment down below, or contact me on Twitter at BrawlFan1 on Twit. I hope you all enjoyed, and thank you so much for watching!